Well, I'm definitely the type to drink the poison, Sarah muttered to herself as she held the, now empty, red crystal goblet. The sweet drink her clients had brought out for her had gone down nicely. She had continued sipping until the bottom of the glass was dry, as they discussed the merits of different color schemes, and what animals were classically appropriate for a nursery. She was secretly chuckling to herself the whole time. You would think she knew better than to just drink what was handed to her, but then again, maybe she knew something else. Sarah Gray, witch, writer, artist, and off-grid enthusiast, was recounting her day to her best friend, Elizabeth Edison, who had called to catch up. Sarah had been occupied by a consultation for a mural in a baby's room for the better portion of the day. The parents had a hard time settling on a design. A concerned look passed across Elizabeth's soft, oval-shaped face, almost telegraphing through the phone. "What was that about drinking poison?" she asked, sounding kind of flustered. "Oh, I was cracking a joke," Sarah replied. "You know how my sense of humor is. Besides, since I have the goats, I have nothing to worry about." Elizabeth rolled her wide green eyes while twiddling a strand of her hair. She knew how Sarah's sense of humor worked, considering they had been best friends for 21 years. But the goat comment had her a little confused. They were both 33 years old, and while they weren't related, they were often mistaken for siblings when out together. Though, where Elizabeth's hair was a natural sandy blonde, Sarah's hair could change colors by the day. She claimed it was to hide her gray hairs. In lieu of green eyes, Sarah's were genuinely a shade of gray. Beyond hair and eye color, the two were the same height and had similar hairstyles. But where Elizabeth was soft but fit, Sarah tended to be more wiry and elfish. They tended to play off each other, picture Lucy and Ethel. "You know I still worry," Elizabeth peered sternly at the phone, as though willing Sarah to feel it. "I know," Sarah spoke quietly. "And I worry about you too." Liz, as she was usually called, shook her head but smiled despite herself. She and Sarah had had quite a few adventures together in their lifetime, and while she worried, like any rational person would, she also knew Sarah could do some pretty unique things to get herself out of a jam. "Anyway," Liz redirected the conversation, "you were texting me earlier. Something about a trip this winter?" "Yes, yes," Sarah chirped, clearly getting excited. "I was thinking you and Dylan could come out to the property for a few weeks, around Christmas?" It was posed as a question, even though she had squeaked out half the words in what seemed to be a fit of nerves. And of course, Liz thought the offer over very solemnly for a moment. She knew Gray Sky Ranch had multiple guest spaces, and there would definitely be enough room for everyone, even her cats. There was just one problem. "My in-laws are supposed to be coming to my place in December," Liz blurted. "So while I would love to—" She trailed off, pinching the bridge of her nose. "You would love to, and you can," Sarah responded briskly, waving her hand, startling Crystal, the white dog with freakishly blue eyes, whose head had been perched on the arm of her chair. "There's plenty of room for them, too. Plus, I can be your backup in case Karen decides to pull one of her stunts." It wouldn't be the first time Sarah had spent extended time around Karen, Liz's mother-in-law. She had been there for a very memorable Thanksgiving with Elizabeth, Dylan, Karen, and Roger, during which it seemed like Karen had tried her best to take over everything. She even went so far as to slip ingredients Elizabeth was allergic to into the food, later claiming she had no clue. We all knew better. Elizabeth hemmed and hawed, trying to come up with a polite excuse, but deep down she was secretly relieved and never came up with an excuse. Which was how, less than 5 minutes later, they could be heard happily chattering across the airwaves about decorations and food, oblivious of the excitement to come.